talked about this!
What do you mean?
Ben, we really need to talk about these things before you do such things.
I just can't resist Caligula.
Ben, we don't have an option. You need to come downstairs right now. We need to have a talk.
Fine. Fine.
Ben, I brought you here because we need to have a real understanding of who he really was. Do you understand that?
I do.
I think that we just need to have an adult discussion on Caligula as a person. We should start from the beginning.
We shall.
Well, Ben, let's start with what you really know about Caligula.
Well, Caligula was born in 12 AD. He was the third of 3 children. And he grew up on the Rhine, I know that. And he became Emperor of Rome, but he was only Emperor for 4 years. And then he went crazy. And then he was assassinated. And that's really all I know.
Well, what do you know of his early life, Ben?
Nothing much.
Do you know about his father, Germanicus?
Not at all.
The famous Roman general?
No.
He played a huge role in his young life.
I didn't
And eventually
know that.
his family would become part of the reason for his terrible wickedness. Actually, he was kind of named after his father. His real name's Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus. But as a child, he wore these large military sandals, and so he was named after them, Caligula. It's a fun fact.
Well, that's good to know. But I also heard that all the male family members in his family died tragically, but he was the only one to survive. So, Dolan, are these his sisters?
Yeah, actually he had 3 sisters, but one of them was exiled during his reign in Rome.
Okay.
He loved them all very much. He loved his family so much that after the tragedy and massacre of his relatives, he became a priest and moved to the island of Capri in 32 AD, where he lived with the Emperor Tiberius. Eventually he became so close that he became the co-heir to the throne with his son Gemellus.
Wow. I heard, though, that he eventually killed Tiberius. Is that right?
Well, it's kind of disputed, but some people believe that he was helped by a praetor, Marco, who may have smothered the king, as he was already dying from an illness.
Interesting.
So Ben, since we really didn't know anything about the rule of Caligula, I decided to do a little research on my own.
Ooh, that's very forward thinking.
Like you said, he only ruled for 4 years, from 37 to 41 AD, but in that time he had quite the events.
Here, let me see some of those.
Oh, here you go. It's quite an interesting website.
Wow. It says that initially he ruled and the people of Rome really liked him, but then as he became more and more insane, he lost favor among the people.
Yeah, I heard that a lot of people don't really know why he went insane, but that was really his undoing. He was crazy, man. He wanted to put himself in the Temple of Jerusalem just to be worshipped. I mean, that's insane.
That's crazy.
He wasn't even Jewish. And he also was known to seduce people's wives, and he even wanted to make his own horse a senator.
Wow. Well, Caligula wasn't completely insane. He did pardon exiled senators that were removed from Rome during Tiberius's reign, and he hosted many games that were in favor of the Romans, and this elevated his appeal to them. And infrastructure-wise, he created many aqueducts, bringing much more fresh water into Rome. But other than these 3 events, every other aspect of his reign was detrimental to both his favor in the Roman eyes and to Rome itself.
It seems like Caligula had a lot of trouble with the Senate in his crazy days. He wanted to make his horse a senator, but that didn't quite work out. And a lot of the senators didn't believe he was really the thing for Rome. He one time built a 2-mile pontoon bridge across the Bay of Naples just to prove to the senators that he could in fact walk across the sea. This resulted in a large spread famine as he used merchant ships from across the empire, and they could no longer get grain to Rome and surrounding areas. Finally, another crazy thing Caligula did to senators was chase them down for miles in front of his chariot when he didn't quite agree with their ideas. Now that's the emperor I want in Rome.
Caligula was very okay with his appearance, even though he was mightily ugly. He would practice making disgusting faces in the mirror in order to scare his servants and to the constituents. But one thing he was very insecure about was that he looked like a goat, and he banned people from mentioning the word goat in his presence, and he would sometimes murder them if they did.
In 41 AD, Caligula eventually suffered his death and downfall. He was assassinated by a plot of his very own guards and died at age 31. Only 4 years of reign and he was already gone. After Caligula was assassinated, Claudius became the emperor of Rome, but let's just be honest, he wasn't the first choice as he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, and then I hear Nero succeeded him, and Nero being Caligula's nephew, I believe. He was almost as crazy as Caligula due to like the trauma that happened during his childhood.
Yeah, Caligula supposedly banished his mother from around Rome, so that could probably be pretty traumatic for Nero.
Yeah, I wonder what the other groups will say about that. Can only find out. Well, that was very informative.
I agree, Ben. I'm really glad we had this conversation. Throughout the day, we got to learn a ton of information on who Caligula really was.
I think I'm changed. I'll no longer play Viva Caligula anymore.
I'm glad, Ben.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad that I can trust you, and now we have this mutual understanding.
It was a very good experience.
Happy holidays.
And happy Hanukkah.